The Grand Hall of the Stellar Assembly had outlived empires. For nearly 13 millennia, it had endured, its walls forged from translucent minerals harvested from collapsing suns, its floor laid with fused stone slabs taken from 100 different worlds. At the center, an immense circular dais held the weight of interstellar order. This was where wars had been prevented, where rival civilizations had been coaxed into compromise, where the galaxy clung to one stubborn faith, that if you talked long enough, violence could be avoided. For almost 13,000 years, that belief had not failed. Envoy Mara Ellison of Earth stood at her station along the ring, small against the scale of the hall, silver hair pinned back, eyes dulled by sleepless weeks. 15 years she had spoken for humanity here, brokered commerce treaties, eased border disputes, translated human stubbornness into something palatable to species who measured time in epochs. When humans first arrived 40 years ago, they'd been young and clumsy among ancient powers. The assembly received them with polite caution. Their homeworld was brutal, volatile climates, predators at the top of every food chain, disasters that rewrote coastlines. Humans were inventive, emotional, relentless, and, to everyone's comfort, predictable. They honored agreements. They respected the process. They bargained honestly. Over time, the galaxy decided humanity was harmless. Now every gaze in the chamber was fixed on Ellison. Across the circle stood High Envoy Threxel of the Korathi Dominion. Tall and angular, cerulean skin muted like storm glass, elongated arms folded with practiced contempt. His people had once conquered systems by the dozens before commerce and diplomacy softened their methods, not their pride. They tolerated younger species the way a storm tolerates a candle. Only until it chooses not to. 3 weeks earlier, a Korathi armada had entered the Helios Reach, a quiet system that held 3 human colony worlds and nearly 14 million people building new lives on unfamiliar soil. The Dominion hadn't come to negotiate. Within hours, colony defenses were neutralized. Within days, every human, farmers, engineers, scholars, children, was bound, loaded into carriers, and hauled deep into Dominion territory. The excuse, delivered with clinical calm, was debt enforcement. A decades-old contract. Restitution owed. The demanded sum was impossible by design. When payment failed, the colonists themselves were taken as collateral, classified as assets, dispersed across 12 worlds, funneled into mines, industrial complexes, agricultural zones. No one in the hall truly believed the justification, but belief had never been the Assembly's currency. Procedure was, this emergency session had been convened for the crisis. This was what the hall existed for: discussion, compromise, solutions that let everyone leave claiming victory. Ellison had received Earth's directive only hours earlier. She'd read it again and again, waiting for some hidden clause, some softer interpretation. There was none. After that, she'd sat alone in a silent room and felt the last thin thread of faith tighten until it threatened to snap. Now she raised her voice into the ancient air. The Korathi Dominion has seized 14 million human citizens, she said evenly. They have been dispersed across 12 Dominion worlds. They are confined in labor facilities. They are classified as assets. A ripple of unease moved through the chamber, shifting postures, murmurs in languages built for throats, crests, and membrane sacs. Threxel flicked one hand as if dismissing static. This is lawful debt reclamation. Your species agreed to the contract. Payment was not rendered. We have claimed compensation. This matter does not concern the Assembly. That agreement was signed under threat of invasion, Ellison said, her calm so controlled it sounded cold. It was coerced and invalid. That is your interpretation, Threxel replied. We reject it. Familiar ground. Positions declared. Panels assembled. Investigations launched. Months of sterile debate while lives eroded in the margins. Eventually, a compromise, partial releases, reduced terms, a final statement crafted to preserve dignity for predators and prey alike. The Assembly's way. The crystalline arbiter at the dais shimmered softly, facets catching the hall's light. Envoy Ellison, please clarify humanity's position. What outcome do you request? Ellison lowered her gaze to the ancient table at her station. Countless hands had rested there. Countless crises had been softened into polite words. She had once believed it mattered. "Humanity has no position to submit," she said quietly. "We request no resolution from this body." Silence struck like a physical force. Even the ambient hum of translation fields felt suddenly too loud. "I do not comprehend," the arbiter said. "You must have terms, conditions to negotiate." "No," Ellison said. "Then why are you present?" Ellison removed the data slate that carried her credentials. She powered it down and placed it on the table as if setting down something heavier than metal and circuitry. "I am not here to negotiate," she said. "I am here to notify the Assembly that humanity is withdrawing from these proceedings. There is nothing to discuss." Threxel's sharp laugh cut the air. "You cannot simply depart. There are procedures, protocols. You are required." Ellison lifted her eyes. There was no anger on her face, only a terrifying absence of it. "Observe," she said. Then she turned and walked toward the great doors. Her boots rang against the fused stone, each step a clean, measured insult to 13,000 years of ritual. No one moved to stop her. No one could quite process the idea that a species would refuse the one thing the Assembly always demanded: participation. At the threshold, she paused and looked back. "Humanity entered this council because we believed in collaboration," she said, voice carrying without strain. "We believed disputes could be settled without bloodshed. For 4 decades, we followed your framework. We bargained. We conceded. We trusted that membership meant protection, that when one species preyed upon another, action would follow." Her tone sharpened. 3 weeks ago, 14 million of our citizens were dragged away in restraints. This council did nothing. It scheduled sessions. It assembled panels. It argued over protocols. While you talked, our people were imprisoned in Dominion labor camps. "These matters require patience," the arbiter protested. "The framework must be respected." "Your framework failed our people," Ellison said, "so we will act without it. Farewell." And she was gone. The hall erupted in disorder. Delegates shouting, accusations spilling, old alliances cracking under sudden fear. Some demanded Earth be recalled. Others insisted it was a bluff. The Dominion's allies laughed openly, declaring humans would return within days, humbled by the reality of isolation. Message after message was transmitted to Earth. Trade partners warned of financial ruin. Military powers reminded humanity of its youth, its small territory, how the galaxy could make life difficult. Negotiators volunteered to intervene personally, eager to restore the familiar rhythm of talk. No reply ever came. Human embassies shuttered. Cargo vessels vanished from council ports. Human civilians scattered among the stars quietly packed their lives and left. Within a fortnight, it was as if humanity had been erased from galactic affairs. The council grew uneasy, but not frightened. Emerging species often withdrew in defiance when denied their demands. They always returned. The galaxy was too interwoven for isolation to last. Only the Elithari delegate, half in ordinary space, half in something stranger, watched human territory with a different kind of attention. Her species perceived emotional harmonics across light years, the way others heard music. "Something is wrong," she warned privately. "The humans are not sulking, they are not afraid, they are not enraged." "Then what are they?" the arbiter asked. Her form shimmered with colors that had no language. "They are focused," she said. "Every human within their borders is aligned toward a single objective. They are preparing something." Then the first Dominion outpost vanished, not destroyed, not breached, simply gone, no debris field, no distress call, no trace. An investigation team arrived and found empty space where a station and 3 docked cruisers had been, an anomaly, Dominion Command declared. A catastrophic malfunction, a reactor breach. Accidents happened in the void. 2 weeks later, Station KX-9 vanished as well, this time under heavy observation. Arrays watched every vector, every signal. The recording was worse than destruction. It was impossibility.